All right, this is the Sunnen model SV-3 vertical honing machine. It has a 2-position rotary table, 10 horsepower main spindle.
That's pretty much it, huh? You take a walk around, take a look at this thing. It's under power right now. In fact, it's already been homed, so we're good to go there. It's sleeping. We can wake it up, I think. There we go. So we got the control here. And as you mentioned, as we pan through here, indexing table. Tool's still on there. We're going to run it with the tool on. We're not moving that fast with the spindle. As you pan up ahead, the cover's off. You can show the feed cylinder up there and the feedback bar on the side of it. Yeah, you see better from that side. There you go. Yep. So it's the readout to the amplifier board hydraulically and the cylinder itself, and motor right behind it with the fan you can hear runnings on right now.
Can you talk a little louder?
Sure. Is the fan louder than me? Oh yeah, so table, documentation, we've got operator's manual here, and electrical drawings are in there, which is all nice to have, so that's all good. One pump here, which connects to a filtration system that's right down the aisle.
I'm going to walk over there.
You want to? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Kind of shows there. It's got the motors on there. And
yep, magnetic as well.
Yep.
Okay.
And I open up the panel. I don't have a screwdriver on me right now, but
good
panel's clean. Documentation in there for that too. And yeah, filtration system.
Okay.
So moving around, there's that coolant pump right. So you got this, books. And ventilation for the hydraulic chiller, clean out for the hydraulic tank. Ventilation on the chiller, the oil chiller, which is back here. We can show the hydraulics package, power plant for this. Chiller, main motor, main pump, and the auxiliary pump is right there. And the auxiliary pump handles currently the feed system, which is off to the left. You can't hardly see it back in there. And up to the right here, which also handles the indexing unit up there on this stack. So the auxiliary handles the index stack and the feed, and the main pump, of course, for recip. If you take a look in there, that's not a lot of light.
Yeah, we can see it.
Yeah, you can see it. That's what the main pump is for. It's all in pretty good shape. Okay, close that up somewhat. That's how that goes. Oil filler down here, main electric panel, and lubrication all on this wall. So got some oil in there, and well, again, like I said, we're under power. Currently at 480 volts. This is my temp line coming in. Freak drive for the spindle. Sunnen PLC. Sunnen, what am I saying? Jesus, Siemens PLC. And amplifier board over here for the hydraulics and feed system. And the rest is the standard switchgear and relays. And you have to come across on this wall here, you got the old clamp circuit. As soon as you get done with the label here. Had a clamp circuit on it. And it's not anymore, but that's what that was for. I don't know if you want to, it's up to you. That's the old, yeah, that's going with the machine. It's just not currently mounted. There's the whole clamp system, 2 clamp cylinders and the posts. Pretty basic. That stays off to the side. So that said, come around, we're on the pendant here. We can go through a few pages real quick. There's like 4 or 5 pages. It's not real complicated. There is an automation screen. At one time, I believe this had some automation. It's turned off right now. It's not part of the program, so I'm not even going to address it. Screen directory. We're right now in operations. This is where most of the auto cycle happens. We get into auto here. Cycle start is dual palm, and clamp, unclamp, again, that's not part of the equation right now, so it's happy all the time insofar as clamp. Spindle jog, in fact, I can hit that right now, and you pan over to your left and you'll see the spindle move. I think it's set, everything on here is settable. It's set for 15 RPM right now. There's off, on, that's just jog speed. And I can do jog, expand, retract right now with the stones. We will do that after I turn on the oil. But just to show a few more pages, that was operations. And you've got runtime edit, which is stroke speed. We'll come in and change this a little bit too after we run a couple of cycles of this. I've got a short, fast stroke going on. Then we'll change over to a slow, longer stroke. That's where you set all of this at. Cycle count. Feed pressures, we're not dealing with. We cannot simulate a production environment. So feed pressure is at 5, feed rate is at 90, and that's about it. So we're going to pull out of that and go to machine setup. And this is where you set the stroke, basically. I'm stopping at 75 millimeter. Its up, go down position is 100 millimeter where you enter the part. And then of course, down, go up position is 200 millimeters. We can come back later and reset maybe the down portion, make a longer stroke. Spindle direction, spindle jog speed is where you set all of that. It's all self-explanatory. And we weren't in machine setup yet. Oh, that was it. That was machine setup. You've got maintenance. We're not going to do much in that right now. Go to alarm screen. We have no alarms. Metric, English, you could change over. Load meter sensitivity, calibration. And here's our start page. When you first start up the machine, you home the machine, turn on hydraulic, then you home the machine. And you've got a coolant page here, lube interval. You can see that's all settable. Lube time, that's settable. And it always shows your machine position. Right now we're at 75, which is our home position, 75 millimeter. And lastly is feed setup. And we'll change something in here too. This is where you can turn dwell on and off. We'll change that maybe on our next program to a dwell at the bottom for 1 second. And what else we got? Oh, check stones position. When it gets to a certain position, it tells you, gives you an alarm to check your stones. They're worn out. All settable again. Rough feed, pressure and rate, all settable, 5 and 90. A lot of these numbers are on multiple pages. So, and automation, again, I won't go into it. It's there, but it's turned off. So right now, we'll go back to the main page, which is operations, start hydraulics, and then we can play with the, well, not play, or move the expand stones or retract stones. And from there, I'm going to jump into maybe an auto cycle and just run the machine with what we have going on right now. And also, I didn't mention it, besides spark out, which I've got turned off, there's runtime, 20 seconds. You can leave all the parameters the same and change this from 20 seconds to 40 seconds, which we'll try again in a few minutes. And it just takes the entire cycle and makes it last that long without changing any of the feed pressures or spindle speeds or anything. So again, I'm going to turn on oil and then we'll index the table. We've already jogged the spindle. I can move the slide up and down. There's oil. Runs pretty good, sounds good. I'm in manual, so I can do an index, which is here. Dual palms. And this is the way you start an auto cycle, the same way. I'll do one more. That's that. Here's our top joystick for up and down. If you hold it, it goes from slow to fast speed, see? That all works really nice. I think that's even settable too, if I'm not mistaken, the jog speed on the slide. I'm not sure, but I think that's settable. I'm going to take it back up to close to 75 where we were at. Otherwise, it won't give me an auto cycle unless I take it all the way up. There we go. So it says, if you notice here, if you want to see, if you screw up and you're right now the tool is outside the part. If I come down with the head, now it thinks we're inside the part. It will not give you an auto cycle. So I have to get out of the part for sure, which I'm doing now. And that should be pretty good right there. We've done an index, we've done jog right there, which is that. And oh, we want to do the jog retract stone. So if you kind of watch here off to the side, you'll see the head move up and down off the reader circuit. I'm going to expand the stones. See it come down, and I'm going to retract, go back up. Now come down to the stone. This one's actually tooled up. I'm going to expand again and bring them all the way out. This is what happens whenever I hit auto cycle, because we're just simulating, but here's expand stones. See that? And retract stones. So that is your feed system. It doesn't really do anything until there's pushback, and it senses the load, and then your other parameters take over as far as feed load is concerned and percentage of load. None of that means much to us now because we're running dry. So that all works. I think we can get into auto cycle right now. There it is. We get auto cycle, wait for cycle start. We get a light flashing, and there's the blue that says wait for cycle start. If I was too low, it wouldn't give me that. Cycle ready means I can hit the dual palms, so it'll index and go into auto cycle, which I'm going to do now. We're running a 20-second cycle, and you'll see the speeds and feeds. It's kind of quick. We're doing a rate of 6 on the slide, which I think is the fastest rate. That's really quick for honing. 10 seconds to go. It's a short stroke. Up, and realistically, now all the stones just retract. We're back to 0. Wait for cycle start. We're right back into auto mode still. Nothing's been touched. I'll do it again. Watch the feed progress light come on. It's going to index. Head comes down. Cycle starts. He starts feeding right away. And because we have no pushback, those stones, you can't see it on the camera, but they're all the way out right now. Watch the position change up and down to 2 seconds. You watch it go back up to my preset of 75 millimeter. It's going up right now. And now we'll do one slower. I had a couple numbers here. If we get out of auto into manual, we can go into runtime edit screen. Kind of watch here. I'm just going to change the program a little bit. Runtime edit stroke speed. We're going to cut that in half to 3. This is how you do it. Pretty seamless, really. Spindle speed was at 50. We're going to cut that in half to 25. Just kind of slow everything down. Enter that in. That's happy there. I'm not touching with feed or anything, because we're not really honing apart. And then let's go into machine setup, and let's change our down go up position. We were reversing at 200. Let's make that maybe 350. It's going to be a much longer stroke now. And enter that. That's happy. And then in the feed setup page, there's a dwell of 1 second, but it's not turned on. I'm going to leave the 1 second dwell. You can call it top or bottom. And I'm just going to turn dwell on. It's green. And let's run we should be able to run this whole program now. There's my whole setup, just got changed. Let's see if it'll give me manual. I'm sorry, it's automatic. There it is. I've got my green light. And this one, and the other thing I wanted to do was change over to 40 seconds. I think I can do that. Let's get out of auto. Let's make this 40. There we go. Just a slower, longer hone time. There it is. Yeah, that's it right there. Now we got a 40-second hone time, a lot longer stroke, and a lot slower spindle speed. Go over to auto and pull back, and I'm going to hit cycle start. Watch the index. There's my 1 second dwell at the bottom. Everything changes. I'm going to just run this for 40 seconds, and we're good to go. You can dwell at top, dwell at bottom. It's pretty versatile control. Oh, I goofed up. I'm going to have to stop it. It's still running a good one. Instead of 40 seconds, I didn't even catch that. I put 40 minutes. So we're going to sit here for 40 minutes and run this. You call it whatever you want to stop it. If I hit stop cycle, To just stop it right where it's
Go
at.
ahead.
I thought I put 40 seconds. I just put 40 minutes.
All right, go ahead and change it.
I'm looking at the, well, I'll just stop the cycle when you're done, or either way, yeah, it's, you know. Yeah, we can stop it. Let's see. I'm gonna stop it on the way up. That's pretty funny. I forgot to use the decimal points. Cycle stop. And let's change this to 0.40. That looks better. Let's see if that works. 40 seconds. And wait for cycle to start. Let's try this. Continue cycle, but at 40 seconds. All we did was change the time. There we go. We're down to 30 seconds now. I didn't see that. It's a real slow stroke. Like I said, slow spindle speed. Feed is still on. It'll stay on right to the end of the cycle. Again, there's no pushback on the stones. Down to 10 seconds. This is going to be the last one. Back home. Should stop at 75 mark at the home position, right there. And end of cycle. It goes into manual. We're all set. And for what it's worth, hydraulics off, control on, and that's pretty much the gist of it, Pete, right there. It's a good running machine.